In a town where beauty, love, and secret intertwine, a young woman captures the hearts of two brothers, igniting a feud that threatens to tear their world apart. In a small peaceful town lived a young woman named Abna. Her beauty was renowned throughout the village. Her laughter, a melody that echoed through the village lane, and her eyes sparkled like stars on a clear night. Men admired her, women envied her, and the children adored her. Abna had captured the hearts of two brothers, Kwame and Kojo. Both were the sons of the village chief and were as different as night and day. Kwame, the eldest, was a serious and hard-working farmer, his hands hard from years of toiling the land. Kojo, on the other hand, was a spirited hunter, known for his daring adventures and infectious charm. Unknown to them, Abna was dating both brothers, skillfully juggling her time and affection between them. Abna's deception was an art. She maintained a meticulous routine, visiting Kwame on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and spending her Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays with Kojo. Sundays were her days of rest, where she would concoct elaborate tales of visiting distant relatives and attending market days in nearby villages. She was careful, always leaving subtle traces of her presence at each brother's place. An earring under Kwame's bed, a handkerchief in Kojo's hunting gear, a little token to make each man feel she was exclusively his. Abna made each of the brothers feel special. Abna's alibi was foolproof. She had a circle of friends who unknowingly vouched for her whereabouts. When asked about her Sundays, her friends would cheerfully confirm she had been with them. Abna's charm was such that no one questioned her sincerity. Despite their close bond, the brothers never discussed their romantic interests. They were both private by nature and assumed the other was too busy with his own life to talk about matters of the heart. The drama began to unfold one fateful evening at the village square. It was the annual harvest festival, a time of celebration and joy. The entire village gathered to feast and dance under the stars. Kwame and Kojo, both eager to make their intentions known, had independently decided that this would be the night to propose to Abna. Kwame approached Abna first, taking her hands and leading her to a quiet corner of the square. His heart pounded as he knelt and presented her with a simple yet beautiful ring. "Abna," he said, his voice trembling, "would you marry me?" Just before Abna could respond, Kojo appeared, holding a gleaming necklace. "Abna," he declared, not noticing his brother or ever thinking his brother had something going on with Abna, said, "I love you from the moment we met. Will you be my wife?" The villagers gasped in shock as they realized what was happening. Abna stood frozen, her mind racing to find a way out of this unexpected confrontation. The brothers turned to each other, confusion giving way to anger as the truth began to dawn on them. Kwame and Kojo realized they had both been courting Abna. The village square fell silent as the brothers confronted each other in anger and shock. "How could you betray me this way?" Kwame shouted, his fists clenched. "Me? You are the one who betrayed me," Kojo shot back, his eyes blazing with fury. Before anyone could intervene, the brothers lunged at each other, wrestling to the ground. Villagers tried to pull them apart, but their rage was too strong. It took several men to finally separate them, each brother looking at the other with pure hatred. From that night, Kwame and Kojo became enemies. They avoided each other during the day, but at night, their anger spilled over. Kwame would trample Kojo's hunting trap, ruining his chances of catching any game. In retaliation, Kojo would sneak into Kwame's field and uproot his crops. The villagers watched in dismay as the brothers' feud escalated. They whispered among themselves about how Abna had caused this chaos. Some blamed her, calling her deceiver, gold digger, the promiscuous woman, and many other ugly names, whilst others pitied her, believing she was caught up in a situation beyond her control. Weeks passed, and the brothers' animosity grew. One evening, Kwame set fire to Kojo's hut, hoping to teach him a lesson. The flames roared into the night, and the villagers rushed to extinguish the blaze. Kojo was left with nothing but ashes and a burning desire for revenge. Kojo struck back by poisoning Kwame's well. The water turned foul, and Kwame's livestock began to die. The once peaceful village was now gripped by fear and sorrow, as the brothers' feud threatened to destroy everything in its path. The village elders, led by wise Nana Ajua, knew they had to act. The constant fighting was affecting the entire village. Crops were failing, children were afraid to play outside, and the sense of community was crumbling. One evening, the elders called for a meeting in the village square. They summoned Kwame, Kojo, and Abna to stand before them. "Enough is enough," Nanajwa said, her voice firm. "This feud must stop. You are tearing this village apart." Kwame and Kojo stared at each other, but they knew the elders were right. They had lost sight of what truly matters. Nanajwa continued, "Abna, you have caused much pain, but you are a victim too of this turmoil. We must find a way to heal." Abna stepped forward, tears streaming down her eyes. "I am sorry for the pain I have caused," she said. "I never wanted this. I only wanted to be loved." Abna began. "I did not grow up like many of you. My parents died when I was very young, and I was taken in by my aunt. She did her best to care for me, but she was stern and distant. I was often left alone, yearning for a touch of kindness, a word of love, but it never came." The villagers listened in silence, their hearts softening as they saw the pain in Abner's eyes. "I watched other children with their families," she continued, "and I dreamed of having someone who cared for me the way their parents did. But as I grew older, I realized that love was not something that came easily to me. I didn't know how to ask for it or how to keep it. So when Kwame and Kojo showed me affection, I held onto it with all my might, afraid that if I let go, I would be left alone again. I know I have made terrible mistakes. I deceived the people who cared for me because I was desperate to feel loved. I see now that my actions caused more pain and heartbreak than I would have imagined. For that, I am truly, truly sorry." The villagers, hearing Abner's sorrowful tale, began to understand the depth of her desperation. They saw not just a deceiver, but a lonely girl who had never known the warmth of a loving family. Nanajwa, with tears in her eyes, "We all make mistakes, child," she said, "but understanding and forgiveness are also part of our journey. you are not alone anymore." From that night on, many in the village began to see Abna in a different light. They offered her kindness and support, helping her to rebuild her life and learn what true love and community meant. Now back to the brothers. The elders devised a plan for Kwame and Kojo to rebuild what they have destroyed. They had to work together, side by side, to mend the village. It was a difficult task, but the elders believed it was the only way to restore peace. The brothers reluctantly agreed. Day by day, they labored together, repairing huts, replanting the fields, and cleansing the poison well. It was not easy, and there were many moments of tension, but slowly they began to see each other not as enemies, but as brothers again. The villagers, seeing their efforts, began to forgive and forget. They rallied around Kwame and Kojo, offering help and supporting. Abna too played her part, aiding in the rebuilding and seeking forgiveness from those she had hurt. As the village slowly returned to normal, the brothers realized their folly of their feud. They sat with Abna and spoke honestly about their feelings. Abna apologized sincerely, and the brothers forgave her, though things would never be the same. The village had learned a valuable lesson about love, forgiveness, and the strength of community. As time passed, Abna realized that her presence in the village would always remind Kwame and Kojo and the villagers of the pain they had endured. She knew it was time for her to find a new place to start all over again. With a heavy heart, she decided to leave the village she had called home for the benefit of all. One morning, Abna gathered her belongings and said her goodbyes. The villagers, now understanding and sympathetic, wished her well. Kwame and Kojo, though their hearts had healed, knew this was the best decision for all of them. Abna traveled to a faraway town, a place where no one knew her past. There, she began a new chapter of her life. She found work and slowly built a new home. In time, she met a kind man called Kwesi. Kwesi and Abna fell in love and got married. They had 4 children. Their home was peaceful and loving. Abna experienced the joy of a loving family. She cherished every moment, knowing how precious and fragile love could be. Abna has finally found the love she had always yearned for. Back in the village, Kwame and Kojo also found happiness. Each married a kind and understanding woman. They had children who grew up playing together, unaware of the past conflict between their fathers. The brothers' family lived side by side, enjoying a life of peace and humility. Abna, now a mother and a wife, found her calling in helping others. She began to run workshops, teaching parents and carers about the importance of love in a child's early years. She shared her story, not to dwell on the past, but to help others avoid the same mistakes. Love is a seed, she always says. When nurtured, it grows strong and beautiful. But if neglected, it can wither and cause pain. It is our duty as parents to care for the hearts of our children, to show them love and kindness, so they can grow into loving and kind adults. Her workshop became well known, and many parents thanked her for her wisdom in helping others understand the power of love. Years later, Abna returned to the village for a visit. She was welcomed warmly, and she saw how much had changed. Kwame and Kojo, now older and wiser, greeted her with smiles. They had moved past the hurt, their lives filled with the joy of their families. Abner felt a sense of peace, knowing that everyone had found their own happiness. She left the village once more, her heart light and hopeful. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As this channel is very new, it will only grow with your support. This means you need to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel. This will help YouTube to gather enough data and recommend the videos to others. Thank you once again for your support. In case you didn't know, I have other inspiring videos on the channel. Don't forget to check them out. Until I see you again, please take care of yourselves. Stay blessed. Shalom.